throughout December, as well as the usual content of me talking about animals' private parts when I should be talking about the arcade game I'm playing, and the Christmas-themed videos, which will still be there. I will also be doing compilations of older content that I've done, coming back from a time when the algorithm thought I was a big poo bum, and I'm going to be showing curated works that I think should deserve a better audience. And you know what? I'm not against the idea of getting a few more watch hours from them, especially as obviously the Spectrum is hot in everyone's minds at the moment, so I'll be doing a lot of Spectrum compilations this month. It won't be a regular thing, it'll just be during December, and then in January we'll go back to our 2 video a week schedule of all new content. But yeah, if you've seen this already and thought it was crap, then don't watch it again, because it hasn't really changed. I might do a bit of editing here and there, but yes. Anyway, yeah, so slightly longer form videos, old videos that I think should have probably had more attention back then. And they'll all be themed. This week we're going to be doing a trio of Masters of the Universe games that came out on the Spectrum. And I'll do a really bad Skeletor impression all the way through them. So sorry about that. But yes, enjoy. Or endure.
He-Man! He must get cold in the winter with those clothes on. Even those furry pants can't protect your testicles from the winter chill. So, a haircut that even Boris Johnson would scoff at, and a buff body the exact colour of a perfect tea, couldn't stop him becoming a hero to millions of little kiddywinks in the 1980s. I myself was one of them. And over the next 3 videos we will be looking at all 3 Masters of the Universe games released for the Spectrum in 1987, which seems a bit like saturation, but here we are. And we will start with US Gold's Masters of the Universe, The Super Adventure. Toy makers Mattel may have dropped a testicle in 1976 when they declined a request by a young director by the name of George Lucas, who asked them if they wouldn't mind making some action figures to go along with this movie he was making. Now, I can't remember the name of that film, and none of us can. It was bloody Star Wars, wasn't it? And upon the storming success of Star Wars, Mattel realised that that lump in their bed was in fact the poo they put there, for yes, they had shat the bed, and they busily started scraping the sheets clean with the rolled up concepts of what they would have to come up with so they wouldn't feel so bad. One of those concepts was a man with a tank for a head, which didn't get beyond the planning stage, and would seem like an incredible idea if you were completely off your nut. He-Man won out of this little toy off, and he and his pals launched a toy line. The toy line was then accompanied by a comic book by DC and the animated toy advert stroke TV show, which was the Masters of the Universe animation. And boy, was it a success. Mattel shifted toys hand over fist. Incredible things like Castle Grayskull and all these action figures you see here. That despite the fact they called the franchise Masters of the Universe, which I think literally no one uses. Everyone I know calls it He-Man. And so to the games. US Gold managed to score the rights to the toy franchise, while Gremlin Graphics nabbed the rights to the movie that was a thing that existed. And lo, the games market of 1987 was absolutely flooded with the oily muscle grease of He-Man and his Masters of the Universe, as the Spectrum saw 3 titles burst upon its keyboard. Get that fluid out of my rubber keys, man of he. Today we're going to play this one. Hang on a minute. Is that the door? I can edit this out later, it'll be fine. Hello. Hello? Oh, what's wrong with your face? What do you mean what's wrong with my face? Bloody flesh owner! Take this zapping, you dolt! What is this? A video game that has me in it? The story is that I, Skeletor, never resting in my struggle to overwhelm Eternia and become the kingdom's absolute ruler, as is right, have developed an Earthquaker device which controls through hypnotic rays a horde of rock binders, gigantic beasts created from boulders who are capable of gnawing their way through solid rock. Under my supervision, the monsters are even now tunneling beneath the foundations of the Shadowlands and approaching the borders of Eternia, where I shall rule and get Castle Grayskull and look at the sorceress in the nude. Yes. She's got feathers. I'm into that. Don't judge me. Anyway, apparently Prince Adam, the Prince of all Eternia, will take up the Sword of Power and assume his alter ego of Prince Adam is He-Man? How could I ever tell? They look nothing... Oh, they do look a bit like each other now. Yes. I feel a bit of a Burke now. Oh, well. On with the mission. Wait. King Randall? Well, I should zap... Am I He-Man? I don't want to be He-Man. He's a chode. A stumpy penis covered in walnuts. What an idiot! Very well. I shall play so badly and condemn him to a fate worse than being eaten alive by a giant wolf covered with fire that has velociraptors as fleas. Now, what do I have to do? Where is He-Man on the screen? What? I have to type? Well, what I'll do is I'll get back to you in 30 minutes when I've worked out what's going on. I can't say I had a lot of fun with this video game. I'm not really one for playing text adventures, you see. However, the still graphics were very nice. Here is that blithering dolt Mantenna, who gets taken out by a simple sword swipe. The useless numpty! And look, there's that chump Man-at-Arms. He's working in a pub while wearing full armour, according to this game, which is an interesting insight into the mind of the nincompoop. What are you worried about, Man-at-Arms? It's not like it's as dangerous as the Croydon Weatherspoons, is it? What a buffoon! The adventure for this idiot He-Man is long and sprawling, but unfortunately for the fool, it is beset by a serious issue. Masters of the Universe, the super adventure, seemingly doesn't have a very good lexicon of words, as the game gets very confused if you type the wrong words in. This presents an issue that a lot of other text adventure games of the time avoided very well. Also, Beastman tells me anyway, the absolute nerd, he plays a load of them while eating super noodles. What a disgusting orange beast! So yes, I wasn't that impressed by Super Adventure, so let's just see how well the Eternian computer magazines rated the game. Crash Magazine quite liked it and gave it an 84%. What a bunch of fools. Computer and Video Games gave it an 8 out of 10. What? This is ridiculous. He-Man thwarts my plans. Do they not know what they're talking about? Make a Skeletor game in the same style and I'll like it, I say. I'll like it. I get beaten in this game. It's demoralizing. Anyway, the next game will hopefully be significantly better for my RSI that I got from polishing Evil Lynn's orbs, as it's an arcade game, so no typing, goody gumdrops. Join me again next time for another adventure in the world of Masters of the Universe, where hopefully we play as me and I can kick He-Man in the testicles or something. I've had enough of him. Him and his little furry pants. See you next time. Okay, thanks, bye. Yes.
Yes, I'm still here, and that dolt J is man-child is still unconscious, under the table and dribbling like a spent phallus. Well now, I didn't enjoy that typing on Masters of the Universe, the Super Adventure, and I especially didn't enjoy playing as that varnished twiglet He-Man. Let us see if the second part of the Masters of the Universe 1987 trilogy works out a little better for me, shall we? With a little luck, the folk at US Gold and AdventureSoft will have seen the error of their ways and will have a more balanced view of the battle for Eternia. There are two sides to a story, and the side of good involves me removing Buzzle's wings with a pair of bolt cutters and put a jacuzzi in the Castle Grayskull throne room. I love the feeling of bubbles around my Skeletor scrotum, yes. So let's have a little peekaboo, shall we, at Masters of the Universe, the arcade game, yes. First, let's have a look at the little old synopsis here. Deep beneath Snake Mountain, in the evil caverns, Skeletor, arch-enemy of He-Man, has discovered the powerful Ill-Earth Stone. Ooh, that sounds like good news, yes. Using its mighty magic, he has overthrown Castle Grayskull. Splendid! And banished the sorceress. Too right, I don't want feathers in my new jacuzzi. And he's created an army of evil clones for the final assault on the Palace of Eternia, thus bringing his plan to be Lord of all Eternia to fruition. Yes, this is all I wanted. This is great. Finally, a game where I can make Eternia great again. Splendid stuff, and let's read on. You, as He-Man... I should have realized from the front cover that this would be more favorable propaganda for that muscular meathead He-Man. Very well, I shall slum it as the near-nude nincompoop once again. He-Man's mission, which he will fail, is to rescue Orko, that little bag of farts, from the imprison spell that I deflected back at him. Like a boss, may I add. He then will try to destroy the Ill-Earth Stone and reinstate the sorceress. Well, she can piss off, because it's my house now, bitch. Look at those bright colours. If I had eyeballs, they would be seared and withered to the size of raisins. Luckily I don't. The animation is smooth too, as that blithering bumhole leaps about with gay abandon. There is a Spydor tank-sized fly in the ointment, though, as the fringed fool is surrounded by a great block of black colouring, or an absence of colour if you're one of those people. Stupid people. While this black block prevents He-Man from a tribute clashing with the walls and fauna of the great Eternian plains, it looks as ridiculous as his bloody haircut. Really, it's just really poor programming. If I was in charge, it would have looked fabulous, yes! Collision detection is also poor, another setback, probably due to that blackboard that He-Man has on his back there. The scrolling, unfortunately, is a little herky-jerky also. Nowhere near as smooth as my physique. Look at my bum! The keyboard controls were clearly designed by a maniac. 8 for left, 9 for right, 0 for jump right, 1 for jump left, 2 for up, W for down, space for fire, and you don't even get to reconfigure them. This is the work of a fool! Ludicrous! It's not all bad, though. The swamps and Castle Grayskull make for a sprawling adventure, with the challenge amping up when you get to the levers, lifts, and ladders of the castle grounds. The enemies are numerous, and the locales are a good deal more attractive than that gym-terrorizing galoot. The magazines in 1987 were varied in their opinion. Your Sinclair rated the arcade adventure quite highly, scoring it an 8 out of 10. Sinclair user gave it an average 3 out of 10, and Crashed pulled down their furry pants and curled out a fudge dragon on it that Battle Cat himself would be proud of, with a 28% score. And what do I think? Well, it's not very good, is it? Yet another blow to my confidence as I'm thwarted by that nincompoop He-Man again. So, US Gold have blown their chance to please me. They will be going into the pit of damnation. Let's just see what Gremlin Graphics can do. See if they can save the Masters of the Universe 1987 ZxSpectrum Trilogy with their effort. Based on my Hollywood appearance, I'm a film star, Jack, and don't you forget it. Oh dear. Oh, what happened? I thought the skeleton shot me. Go back to sleep, you fool! I have to get home and put Panther out before he lays a big cable in my throne room. Triclops is useless. He doesn't even put food down for him. Honestly, how long does it take to drag a prisoner from the dungeon? Nincompoop. I'll just play the last of the 1987 Masters of the Universe games. And this one is the one based on the movie. Yes. I'm happy that I finally get to play as the coolest, most handsome warrior lord of all of Eternia's many continents. That, of course, being me. Let's have a little sneaky peek at my excellent motion picture debut. And you know what? I don't have to be modest, as I'm as evil as Josef Fritzl. I wouldn't do what he did, mind. That shit ain't right. Yes. The Masters of the Universe movie was distributed by Canon Films in 1987. 1987 was, unfortunately, the first year that sales of the Masters of the Universe toys had started to significantly drop. Worse timing than Merman when he walked in on me polishing my power staff. The fool! It was based on the toy line rather than the animated series, so key characters like Prince Adam and Orko, who wasn't released as a toy until a lot later, weren't featured. Masters of the Universe the movie had a small budget of just $22 million. Canon were going to use this money to make a 1980s Spider-Man movie. Unfortunately, Masters of the Universe tanked, largely as Eternia is abandoned early for the streets of New Jersey and the company of Monica from Friends. This is not what my fans wanted. Good grief! It ended up contributing to the bankruptcy of Canon Movies and the end of any chances of a sequel or that much-mooted 80s Spider-Man movie. It would have been much better if I had made it. I would have taken New Jersey, Eternia, and would totally have kissed not only Monica from Friends, but Rachel and Phoebe too. I mean, could I be any more Skeletor? That's a little joke just like Chandler Bing. If it wasn't for He-Man, I could have been in Ocean's 11 or The Avengers Infinity War. I mean, look at this guy. I could totally have done that role. Look at him. Now, there is apparently a new movie based on my exploits on the way. Only 32 years late, mind. My back's creaking these days, you know. I miss the best years of my acting life. I could have been a thespian if it wasn't for He-Man. The game of the movie was released on several of the 8-bit computer formats in 1987, and unlike those two other US Gold titles, the movie version was created by Gremlin Graphics. Now, can the makers of Monty Mole and Jack the Nipper succeed in giving the fans of yours truly a video game adventure that shows off my manly skills and hot Skeletor bod? No. Guess who we're playing as again? Captain Bulkup, that's who, and they wonder why the movies and games failed. Honestly, Skeletor is where it's at. A pox on you, Gremlin Graphics, and you too, US Gold. I shall cut the winnets out of Beastman's butt hairs and sprinkle them in your respective copper soups. The story to this waste of my precious Dark Lordy time is that this cretin, blimey, hasn't Tormund from Game of Thrones let himself go? Well, he's made this cosmic key, a device capable of opening up portals to anywhere the user wishes to go. And naturally, I want that. I could totally teleport into a Hooters changing room and look at the boobies. Into the throne room of King Randall. The buffoon He-Man thwarts my plans and ends up with the cosmic key on planet Earth. A planet that has things like this, and this on it. I wouldn't want to go there. He-Man is stuck in this realm and wants to return home. The only way to do it is to find the right musical chords to operate the cosmic key. I hope the music is something horrible, like that Katie Price and Peter Andre cover of A Whole New World. That'll learn him. He-Man wanders the realm of Earth in a top-down flip-screen adventure. He fights his enemies by pissing out kidney stones at them. Drink some damn water, you fool. It doesn't look or sound particularly special, this game, but other than that, it's a fairly playable Gauntlet clone, which features a string of mini-games. These mini-games can only be accessed at certain times. Failure to attend to these areas means that He-Man will miss that chance of grabbing the musical chord he needs and will ultimately fail. Excellent! I can rule Eternia while that musclehead can deal with daytime television and anti-vaxxers. He-Man's mission is made more difficult by one of the worst design decisions I've ever seen in a game of this type. You would expect to go east by, well, moving east, wouldn't you? Oh no, not here. With each screen you need to pay close attention to that compass. That is the only indicator that tells you which way you're headed. Even with a map, this nincompoopery becomes a devil to work with. It takes even my excellent brain time to adjust to where I am and which exit leads where. Madness! It would be awful normally, but with a game that has time-centric events, it's completely hideous. Find your way to the correct venue on time and you battle my minions in a variety of mini-games. Here is a brawl with the reanimated corpse of Tina Turner. She isn't even dead yet. Beat Tina and you have to fight this post-apocalyptic Mitchell brother. Have that, Grant. Continue collecting chords and a first-person shooting range battle occurs. Gun down enough warriors and He-Man progresses to faffing about on a blimmin' frisbee. At this point,
I allow He-Man a chance to come and have a go if he believes that he is hard enough. And that swollen sod pays me back by pushing me off a ledge. What an unsavoury character. This is probably the best video game of the three, despite my regrettable end. The magazines gave it above average scores. Crash awarded the game a 70%. Sinclair User thought it worthy of a 7 out of 10, and your Sinclair believed it worthy of a 6 out of 10. Well, that was a disappointing afternoon for me, getting beaten left and right in 3 separate games. Time to go home. I better wake up this dolt first.
Oh, where am I? Christ, are you the Grim Reaper?
No, I am not the Grim Reaper. He's an idiot. I'm going back to Snake Mountain to buff my slime pit.
Crikey. Oh, what's he been playing? Masters of the Universe, the movie?
I'll be back.